out here. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Queens.
Name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my
Queens.
name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
Hello everyone, it's Pluto here. Welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to be giving my full thoughts on the new Pirate101 Krokotopia update. But before this video starts, if you can please like and subscribe, it helps me out a ton and keeps me motivated to keep making videos for you guys. We're almost halfway to 2,000 subscribers, so any support is very appreciated. So about a week ago, the Krokotopia update released to test realm for Pirate101. I was going to stream it, but then I found out it was completely bugged. Basically, there was a quest blocker. You couldn't open a cage to free a Mander. I posted about it on community notes. Basically, someone opened it already, and it had to update, but it wasn't doing that, and it wouldn't reset. So basically everyone was stuck on the same quest for a while. They fixed it a couple days afterwards, but honestly that was just the least of the bugs. This whole update had bugs. There was so many bugs in this update. There was a shared instance towards the end that no one person could do at the same time, so everyone got stuck there. I know Slade got stuck there. I saw in his video on this. It was just a very disappointing and bug-filled update. And honestly, just the design of Zigzag areas weren't done very well. I kept getting pulled. It was very annoying in general, just navigating areas just because of the mob pathfinding. And also, that's the problem when you reuse Wizard 101 areas. I mean, you can't really transfer Wizard 101 areas to Pirate 101 and expect it to work, especially because of Pirate 101's camera angles. When you're in battle, there's certain camera angles. You can't translate Wizard 101 areas to Pirate 101 simply because, the camera angles get messed up. Mob pathfinding, you don't have much room, so now you have to worry about getting pulled. Mobs don't really work as well as they did in Wizard 101, especially considering that Zigzag was an instance and there was no real mobs walking. It was more just you fight a mob here and then it goes away. Now you have mobs walking. It just doesn't really work. It was just really buggy. Another major issue in my opinion was the gear. The gear in this update was pretty much worthless. When Tartarus was introduced, it also introduced some really cool new gear, and it was some pretty good gear as well. Some of the best gear in the game was introduced in that update, and that was needed because we weren't getting XP. The same with this update, we aren't getting XP. We aren't gaining levels, so there needs to be some incentive. And the gear doesn't cut it. The gear is not good. The only thing that might be worth going for is a Turn the Tide charm, but even that is probably just worse than the Manticore charm. You may as well just use follow through, and so why would you even get Turn the Tide? The gear in general is just a very mid and nothing I would go for personally. Maybe some people would go for it, but really, what's the incentive if the gear is bad? If the gear isn't that good, what's the incentive of even doing the update? Another major issue is why haven't we gotten a level cap yet? We haven't gotten a level cap increase. Right now, you have more content that doesn't gain us any levels than you do in Valencia 2. Valencia 2 gave us 5 levels, and it was relatively short. Right now, there is more content in the game that's after Valencia 2 than Valencia 2 itself. So it's begging the question, why don't we gain 5 levels? Why can't we just gain those levels back? I don't know how hard it would be to increase the level cap, but I'm imagining it wouldn't be that hard because they do it every year for Wiz. What would make it harder in Pirate? You have enough content to give us 5 levels, so why not just, give us 5 levels? Why not even just give us 10 levels, honestly? You could probably do that after a couple more updates, maybe 2 or 3 more updates, you can give us 10 levels. So just start adding XP. Maybe each of these updates itself is a level. Sinbad Parts 1, 2, and 3 is 1 level, then Tartarus is another, and then Utopia is that 5th level. You have enough content here to split it into 5 levels, so why not just do that for us? It would not only incentivize it more for us to quest in those areas, but it would also just make us be able to do more things a Hercules promotion, which again, that was another major disappointment. There was a bug in this update where it looked like Hercules was going to be promoted, and everyone was excited about it, but all of a sudden, no, he's not being promoted. It was a mistake. It wasn't meant to be added. And that's just so disappointing. We could have gotten a Hercules promotion quest in this update. and that would have been so cool, but we just didn't get it. And that's just super disappointing. I don't know why. I was excited for it. I was hyped. I was pumped to see what Hercules would get. But no, it's just a mistake, and it was never added, never meant to be in the update, which, yeah, I mean, that's just one of the many disappointments in this update, I guess. Probably my biggest issue with this update is the story, and I hate for this to happen, especially because I loved the story of Pirate101's first arc. Even with Valencia 2's flaws at the end, I believe they wrapped it up well, and they left a really good cliffhanger in case they wanted to ever do more. And unfortunately, it's that cliffhanger that they messed up. Remember in the end how Queen survives and we are left with this amazing cutscene that really set up the story of Arc 2 if they choose to go there? Yeah, that was scrapped. In the name of subverting expectations, apparently that queen that survived wasn't for battle and was only for entertaining the aristocracy? I'm sorry, what? That makes no sense, because if you remember back to the Kane fight, Queen was probably the most powerful one of Kane's inner circle. She was the biggest threat. Whenever I had to solo Kane, she was always the #1 priority to kill. She wasn't made for battle? That makes absolutely no sense. You know which Clockwork wasn't made for battle? Fool, because we never fight him. I thought that Fool was made to entertain and distract the Valencian aristocracy, not Queen. And you want to know what's especially funny? They replaced the Queen that survived with this stupid Queen of Battles, a boss named Bellatrix, and I'm sorry, she is probably the lamest fight in this game ever, the lamest boss fight ever. She's just a reused asset battle angel who says that she's cooler, better than Queen, and then you kill her in like 2 turns. It's so easy. One of the easiest fights, and it's so stupid. That whole subversion made no sense and completely ruined the cliffhanger ending for me. The only thing that could justify it is if they wanted to wait to use Queen a little bit. Let's say they wanted to do Arc 2 as these like episodes, and then once they start doing Arc 3, they want to introduce new worlds again. So they wanted to hold off on using Queen as the villain until then, because they wanted a cooler villain. So they just added this filler villain, who I'll get to in a second. But even that doesn't make sense to me, because in the story they pretty much sideline her and say that she wasn't made for battle and say that there's this new queen out that we instantly kill. So it just doesn't make sense. Why do that now? Why not just, if you want to subvert expectations, just wait. Just don't use Queen yet. Just don't even bring her up. Just say it's this new villain. And now let's get to the new villain. It is this necromancer woman named Oksana. She is one of the last survivors of the destruction of Dragonspire. Her goal is to go to El Dorado and learn magic in order to conquer the spiral. Yeah, you're hearing me right. In a game called Pirate101, they made the main villain a wizard. Not only is that decision just stupid, but I mean, come on, what a downgrade. Queen would have been a much better, much cooler villain, but instead we're going with this random villain nobody's even heard of. Also, Oksana's motivations are just stupid. She wants to conquer the spiral, so we gotta stop her. That sounds like a Wizard 101 plot. That sounds just like Morganthe all over again. In fact, actually, now that I mention it, why couldn't Morganthe have just been the main villain of this arc? Nothing would have really changed. In fact, it might have even been better if Morganthe was the villain. Obviously, Queen would have been the best villain, but what changes really if Morganthe is the villain over Oksana? She's a necromancer. She wants to conquer the spiral. She lost a lot of her power after Chrysalis. She survives the fall out of the glass in Chrysalis. Now she's lost her power. She wants to go to El Dorado to regain the power so she can conquer the spiral. What changes? A genuine question. What changes here? Honestly, you could have it even be a cooler plot and say that her mission isn't to conquer the spiral, it's to extract revenge on the wizard. Imagine all the Wizard 101 references you could do with Morganthe then. But instead they just shoehorn in this random villain, nobody's even heard of her, she's not pre-established at all, and she's not even that cool, I'm not even gonna lie. It's infinitely cooler and infinitely a better storyline to just have Morganthe as the villain, and it just makes more sense storyline wise when they introduced a necromancer and they talked about her as if she's like weaving a web and it's a girl. Why not just do Morganthe? And I understand it's a cop out to bring Morganthe back a little bit, kind of like how they did with Malistaire and Darkmoor and Azteca, but it's also a cop out to just sideline Queen. everyone thought was going to be the main villain. So if you're going to sideline Queen, don't just introduce this random villain. Introduce an already pre-established villain, Morganthe. But yeah, overall, the Krokotopia update was just very disappointing. I hope they can change the direction a little bit, especially with the story. I don't think that subverting expectations is always for the best, and I hope they can actually play test these updates a little bit more, so we don't end up with these quest blocker bugs and this shared instance bug in the future. Like for future updates, I really hope that they can actually, fix the bugs before they come to Test Realm, so that we don't have to deal with it. I know that Test Realm is for finding bugs, but you shouldn't have like massive bugs like quest blockers in Test Realm. That shouldn't be a thing. It should just be for like the minor bugs that soft lock you, not hard lock you out of the quest line. But that's all from me. That's my thoughts on the update. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one, everybody, and goodbye.